All right, hey, how's it going, man?
Very well, very well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, likewise. So, I've learned a lot from you today. You're a young entrepreneur, you're killing the game, and, as someone that works in healthcare right now that also does a lot of entrepreneurship stuff, I kind of want to know where did the inspiration for you come to do what you've done right now?
So it came by mistake.
Yeah.
I wanted to become a professional soccer player, and then by mistake, because I lived in DR, I grew my social media to be a pro, and through that process, I ended up getting a client by mistake that wanted him for me to teach him how I grew my social media, and then that's how I started the business by mistake. So it wasn't like premeditated that I built this thing at the beginning. It was a mistake.
All right, so you're big into social media. You teach people how to grow their brand, and as someone that's also built a relatively decent social media platform, when a lot of people come out to me, like, I know you're an entrepreneur, I'm a doctor. A lot of people, I'm sure, in our niches are like, hey, how do you do that? How do I create my first video? But a lot of them are just, they're stuck because they're scared. So, like, how do you help people get over that hurdle when it comes to creating content?
Just simplifying it, right? So, for example, in your case, right, what we're talking behind the scenes, a couple things. It's like just giving simple frameworks that people can use to create content. Again, content is really just a form of communication, and you don't need to be a TikTok dancer to create great content. It's just the value that you're providing. One of the simplest, easiest frameworks that is very, very good, because also content is designed to sell, not to create content on itself. I don't care about the followers. I can't pay my rent with followers.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta have money, right? So 5-1-30. I'm looking for 5 people, 1 result in the next 30 days. In your case, it's like, hey, I'm looking for 5 doctors who want to stop being fat and want to lead by example and want to actually get fit in the next 30 days. Boom, comment the word fit below.
Okay.
So that's a simple way to just create content.
All right, and I know nowadays we have all these like automation softwares like ManyChat. You built your own software. How long have you been using that strategy in terms of like the comment keyword
Since
strategy?
2017.
Okay. Back in the day, we're using like staff and assistants to
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's much easier. You can scale
100%.
much faster.
100%. Back then, 2017, ManyChat was only on Facebook pages. Then they introduced ManyChat to Instagram. I think it was like 2020 or something like that. So.
Okay. And do you use the same strategy on TikTok?
On TikTok, it's 100% different. I don't know if there's AI DM software for it.
Hasn't been that, to my knowledge yet.
No. What we do is on TikTok, we just send them to the link in bio. So TikTok traffic is 100% different, though, than the other stuff that I've seen. It's more people that have less attention span. In terms of like quality of followers, I would say YouTube is the number 1, Instagram is number 2, and probably Facebook, and then TikTok is like bottom of the barrel.
And when you say YouTube, are you talking about like the YouTube general, or are you talking about YouTube Shorts?
YouTube general. Even like the YouTube Shorts probably, but like YouTube general, a viewer on YouTube is 100% more valuable than anything else.
And why do you feel that?
Because they're consuming a piece of content for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So, and they're intentional about it too.
Yeah.
So it's like on Instagram, TikTok, etc. They're just scrolling, randomness, and they're just like, oh, like a cat video, and then this prank, and then they see you talking about health nutrition, right? And they might just scroll through. On YouTube, though, it's like they're intentional clicking on a video because they want to learn about a specific subject. So the intention on YouTube is it's the difference.
Okay, and when you work with someone to help them grow their brand, what would you say is like the first step for them?
What are you selling, who you're selling it to, and what price point are you selling it? So we need to define that more than anything else, because if we don't define that well, then nothing else is going to work. I don't care about the followers. I don't care about how many likes are you getting. I care about how many sales can we actually bring in, and doing it in a way where it allows us to scale a business very quickly. And I was breaking down the numbers for you. It's like you need a product that you can sell for $3,000, right? And all you need is 30 sales a month, and you have $1 million business. That's it. That's the math. So you sell one sale a day at $3,000 a pop, you have $1 million business.
And then you got to pay taxes.
And then you got to pay taxes.
No, but that's a very simplistic way to look at it, because I do think that a lot of times we all get caught up in just doing a lot of stuff but not getting the results because we don't break it down like that.
Correct. And then here's the interesting thing is we all have the same 24 hours in the day, and the reason why somebody else has more money or whatever is because they know something to do or something not to do that we are doing. So a lot of times it's like we need to stop doing stuff versus do more, and just focus on the couple of things that are actually bringing the results. In this case, it's just sales. Like you just focus on the end result, which is bringing that kaching.
So with that said, would you say the sales is probably like the last thing to outsource because it's probably the highest leverage thing in most businesses?
Correct. Yep, exactly. It's like, even to this day, I still take sales calls, even though I have a sales team, and we're training every single day, like anywhere from like 150 to 200 people. I still take sales calls myself, just to lead by example, and nobody can say, oh, the leads are weak, the this and that. It's like, I have the highest closing rate in the company, period, because I lead by example. So, yeah, I would say sales is probably the last thing you want to delegate.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Because being a doctor, sometimes I would just be on rotations where I can't do these sales calls, and that's where I would lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, all right, lesson learned. All right, no, that's very helpful information. Another thing that I kind of wanted to ask you about, when it comes to sales and scripts, you mentioned something about sticking to a script versus like having bullet points. Why do you prefer that?
So, and this doesn't go, like, I don't get the credit for this, is my business partner, Anthony Powell. And the reason why that is because we want to create a system that's replicatable. Now, while yes, you want sales to be the last thing you delegate, at the same time, you also know that you have a cap, right? You can only take so many sales calls in a day. So eventually you're going to have to delegate.
Yeah.
You're going to have to create a sales team and people to close for you. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if that closer is saying the exact same thing you are in the exact same way. Because it's one message, one product, one company. And if the closer is saying, oh, this and that, and then you're saying ABC and the closer is saying BCA, same letters, different order, right? So it needs to have one single file line, and that's the reason why a script is so important. So everybody's sticking to the same thing, and there's no guesswork.
And when it comes to giving feedback to your closers, like how often of a frequency are you doing something like that?
Every day.
Every
Day, twice a day. So morning and evening. So it's because it's not what you read, it's how you read it. Example, what is your favorite singer? Or musician?
Okay, we'll say Usher for the...
Okay, Usher. Okay, so what was this song? Yeah, I think it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens? Okay, we have the lyrics right here. We can pull it up in Google.
Yeah.
If you sing Yeah, what's in front of a crowd, what's going to happen? Are people going to like cheer you on or no?
I hope so, if I sound good enough.
Yeah, do you think you'll be able to feel a stadium of like 20, 100,000 people or something?
When the way I do
with
that
you.
song?
Yeah, with you.
That song, no. If I do my own songs, I make music too. So
okay,
maybe otherwise.
All right. So the reason why I'm asking you that question is because I can read and can try to sing "Yeah" from Usher.
Yeah.
And it's the same lyrics. We're saying the exact same thing.
But it's the way he says it.
The way he says it is the tonality, right? So that's like the same thing in scripts. It's like it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when everybody has one single file line, you know for a fact that everybody's saying this thing, and now all I'm doing is training on tonality, and it's a lot easier to do that.
No, I mean, that makes so much sense, and it's something that is often overlooked. And one thing that I've learned is that most of the best salespeople are already selling. So, like, whenever you're looking for these salespeople, a lot of times they're brand new, and they're nervous, and they're not good at using their voice. They don't create content like we do. So, like, that's one thing that I've had to kind of learn is, like, okay, record myself doing this, and then listen to them all the time until they almost as good as me, or
Correct.
even better.
Yeah. Well, what we do as well is like they jump first on sales calls with me, so like a three-way, and then they hear me first, like close the deal, then I hear them, and then it's a feedback loop. But also, it's like in our case, we can train the guy in McDonald's Philippine Burgers how to be a closer, because it's a system. It's like it's process driven, and then all we're doing is training on tonality, and then we say to the person, hey, forget about the end result, focus on the process. The end result is going to come by itself. And I mean, the biggest example, in my opinion, for us is my own dad. It's like my dad has never sold a thing in his life ever.
Yeah.
And he's 58, 59 years old. He doesn't have Instagram. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't have followers. And in December, it took him 9 days of him fighting the system to actually close consistently every single day. His biggest, like, he was working 12 hours a day for a full 9 days, not closing one sale. Think about that. And then he was started closing one a day, but it was like on 4 payment plans. I'm like, hey, stop doing that. And like, no, but people don't have money. I'm like, yes, I do. Stop doing that. There was like 3 payment plans, then 2. And now he's like closing 1 or 2 payments. So paid in fulls or 2 payment plans. His biggest day so far he's done is $28,000 in sales in a single day.
Wow.
So
it's possible. Yeah. If your dad can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah. So it's systems wise. It's process driven.
And have you worked with people in the health coaching fitness space? What would be some of the most successful, because you probably see people that suck and people that are doing great. So what would be the tactics and strategies that the most successful people use in that space?
So one is what I was telling you, the offer itself.
Yeah.
It has to be like attractive enough to reel people in. And then you need a qualifying process so you're not talking to everybody. You're talking to a specific group of people. In your case, I mean, with the traffic that you have, I think you definitely need like some sort of like lower entry level fee or something before you even talk to people. So that's something very easy to do. But to answer your question, what I've seen work the most is an offer for a minimum of $3,000 that you can sell every single day, that the deliverable is easy, that you can do remote, and then you can scale. And then all you're doing is booking 4 qualified appointments a day. 4.
Mm-hmm.
With 4 qualified appointments a day, you're able to make 1 sale a day on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's a $1 million business right there.
Okay, so in that case, it might be beneficial to have like a setter.
Yep, 100%.
To kind of filter.
Correct.
Unless so when you mentioned something about having like maybe some sort of payment or qualifier, like could you describe a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I'll tell you one of the clients that we have that's doing like 1.6 a month, like million a month.
Wow.
And what he has is, first he has a $99 2-day live seminar, which is a webinar. It's like, but people are paying for the webinar.
Yeah.
So is a buyer lead. That's number one. And 35% of those people go to the upsell, which is $700. Well, that's just to liquidate the ad spend. He's spending like $300,000 to $400,000 a month. His actual money is made on the high ticket, which is a yearly subscription for like $5,500, and then he's making like $700,000 or $800,000 on that product alone. Oh, wow. So total, he's doing like 1.5, 1.6 million a month,
and he's closing those people on the phone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but he's making money from the $700 product
and the $100. The $100 product, he's losing money on that because of ads. Okay. The $700, he's making $300,000, $400,000 a month in profit, and then plus the $700,000 in profit from the back end. That's like all profit.
And so he's doing a webinar. What's the second thing? Is that video sales letter? What's he doing?
No. It's like his $99 live webinar once a month.
And is that a live webinar?
It is live.
Okay,
it is live.
Evergreen.
It's not a live webinar. It is an actual live webinar.
Okay.
So and then after that, he sells them on a $700 course, and then a subscription. So for a yearly subscription.
Oh, that's a beautiful business model.
Yeah.
And what gives him the cachet or the clout to make these deals? Does he have a huge following? Is he well known?
No.
Are they?
Ad spend is all paid traffic for him. It's all paid traffic. He actually only has like 60,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh, really?
So very tiny.
What do you say?
2 minutes, I think.
I'll do it. No, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. And it gives me like just crazy ideas. I'm like, with the traffic that I generate organically.
Yeah, correct. So like you can say, hey, listen, like $100 boot camp, whatever, or challenge, right? And then after that, you upsell into some sort of like 6-month or yearly coaching. That's relatively easy because you have a lot of traffic. I've seen it.
Yeah. I've been just trying to figure out what to do with the traffic.
Yeah.
It's cool because I could test things out real fast. I'm like, okay, I'm going to test this AI chatbot real quick. And then I'm like, oh, this thing's really hallucinating.
Yeah.
And then, an issue that I started having was just I was getting so many people, like 20% of these people were from like countries I didn't even know existed. I was like, okay, this is a waste of my time.
Yeah. Well, if you leave it to organic alone, that's what's going to happen. That's why I like paid. Because you can like specifically target people, and you don't have to like do some crazy campaign. It's just like the boost button on Instagram works wonders.
Right. So when you're doing the boost, so you don't ever go to the ad manager?
Yeah, we do, but like to start now, like most clients, we tell them, hey, listen, like ignore the ad manager. It's like way too complicated for you. Like you don't even know how to set up a pixel. Like ignore that. So we just tell them, hey, listen, like just hit the boost button, select targeting, select United States, select 28 to 35-year-old. Select 2 interests or 3, and just let it run. That's it.
And I don't know, for that one, you don't need an objective?
No. Well, it can be like go to the Instagram profile, a link, or DM.
Okay.
We either go link or DM.
Link or DM. All right.
Obviously, with the DM, we have the AI. So.
Okay. So you typically go to DM, you give them the free thing, and then you kind of start the conversation from there.
Exactly.
And you got your full-blown AI everything right now?
Mm-hmm. On Instagram, yeah.
I am too. It's beneficial. It's just,
it's like it saves time.
Yeah, and you don't tell them that you're AI. You just say, hey, this is...
No, it just responds, and then just has a conversation. And then after that, they book a call, and that's an actual human.
Okay. And then you have any big plans, like you've made, accomplished a lot? You're not even 30 yet. How old are you?
31.
31? Okay,
31.
I'm I turned 34 this year.
31.
Killing the game. So
Yeah. So
what's the next 10 years look like for you?
So software, I want to develop and build Drizio to a big tech company. We're building a big kind of conglomerate called Digital Entrepreneur with my business partner. So that's the goal, and then a merchant processing company. So everything's like tied in together into one like single thing. But yeah, that's the goal. So
Okay.
we want to 100 mil. Sounds great, or a bill. I don't know. We'll see. It's a big stretch.